Steve Pigeon, thank you very much for joining me. For those in the microstock market who aren't aware of Masterfile, you want to give us a bit of a background of the company and what you've recently done in microstock?
Sure. Masterfile is a premium licensing business, rights managed, royalty-free images. We've been around since 1981. We license images globally, advertising, graphic design, some editorial. But it's been totally a premium business. It was originally founded on rights managed marketing and licensing, and then in about 5-6 years ago we branched out aggressively into royalty free. Along came Microstock a few years ago and changed the landscape, and then we started doing some homework and looked at a number of companies and ended up, as you're aware, buying Crestock in July of this year. Fantastic.
Okay. Has Masterfile been travelling a similar line to other traditional stocking companies? We've heard a lot about things, the market not being so great.
That would be a fair assumption. When, as we all know, there's some really good material available in Microstock, and when you can get really good images on a royalty-free basis for anywhere from $1 to $25, that could put a lot of pressure on people who are selling business or images for $100 to $500. So there's no question that the premium licensing business is feeling pressure.
Sure. And in your acquisition of Crestock, what was it that you were looking for in a microstock agency?
Well, we were looking for the right price. We were looking for a company that had, a reasonably sized database, and hopefully that was built on premises of quality, because that's the whole quality thing is something that is very in tune with the way Masterfile built its business over 30 years. So when we originally looked at Crestock, it was our impression that this company paid more attention to quality. I mean, we read the photographer forums and saw nothing but complaints from photographers, but their stuff being rejected. We said, okay, these guys are clearly taking, kind of a hard line and looking for a strong creative product. So we felt it was the right fit. We met the owners, we liked each other, and there was a bit of negotiations that went on, and finally a deal was done.
Fantastic. So you've already paid out the contributor commissions that were behind,
right,
and you've brought the review queue up to date.
Right.
New logo we see recently.
Yeah.
What else have you done, or are you planning to do in the near future?
I guess the single biggest thing that's going to make a massive difference for the company is we're investing a significant amount of money into marketing. To put it into perspective, without disclosing actual numbers, our marketing budget from October to March of next year is double what Crestock's annual sales were last year. So we're putting a lot of money behind this thing because we think there's a great opportunity there. Concurrent with that, we're making all kinds of website improvements. Our promotional line for Crestock is going to be good, fast, cheap. Good is about quality, fast is about delivering the stuff there, and cheap is about what Microstock is. Sure. Sorry, I don't mean cheap in a bad way, but definitely low price.
So can we expect to see any pricing changes?
Yes. The first thing we did is, when you went to the Crestock website originally, it defaulted to subscriptions, which is the most expensive product. The unit cost of an image is nothing. It's 25 cents an image. But for somebody coming to the website looking for cheap pictures, they were offered something from $179 to $1,700. We thought, well, that's kind of silly. That's a product you want to offer, but not necessarily throw it in people's face. So the first thing we did is we defaulted to single images. And one of the things that Crestock was unique for, and still is relative to a number of agencies, is you can actually buy images without having to buy a packet of credits. So we defaulted to the $5 images, and in the case of Crestock it was $5 to $15. So we defaulted to that so that immediately people coming to the site might be more incented to stick around as opposed to seeing $179 and taking off. Okay. Next thing we're doing is we're going to offer a broader range. Like everybody in the Microstock business, we're going to offer $1 images for, the real small things, thumbnail size, stuff like that. But then we're also going higher. Right now, Creestock's maximum price is $15, even though you could be getting a super, super high-res image.
Sure.
So we're going to be pricing that up to about $25 at the high end. And also their vector images currently sell for $10. And as you know, a vector image is infinitely extensible, so we're bumping that up to $15 initially, and then we'll see how that works with the marketplace.
Okay. We've seen some interesting, or perhaps with one exception, a bit of a struggling of traditional agencies to get into the microstock market and make a microstock agency work. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, from my perspective, number one, we considered starting a microstock agency. Well, you know, we're not really in that business, so there's a whole learning curve, and there's a lot of things you got to do, and that's why we acquired Creestock, because it's already there. So a lot of the learning, a lot of the upload processes and all the things that make microstock different from premium was already there. So we said, let's just take this and then build on it. Now, we are also bringing to bear a lot of our experience in commercial licensing, because in 30 years you get a pretty good idea of what sells and what doesn't sell, and we're applying those disciplines, albeit in a looser way. We do not expect amateur photographers, for example, to be able to consistently produce on the same level as professional photographers, and by the same token, when you're dealing with a crowdsourced product, you want to kind of expand the opportunity to sell images, because at the end of the day, something that could sell for $5 or $10 might never sell for $500, but at $5 or $10 you may sell it a lot of times.
Sure. And will you be taking some of that content and mixing it across, so Creestock sales on Masterfile and vice versa?
Not this week, but one of the things we will be doing in fairly short order is putting some of Masterfile's premium royalty-free content on Creestock, offering it as, you know, a separate high-end collection, but in a way that people don't necessarily mix their search results where they think they're getting a $5 picture and find it as a $50 picture. So we're looking at doing that. We're not in such a hurry to put Creestock content on Masterfile, because we don't want to encourage people to spend less, obviously.
Of course, yeah.
Upselling is good, downselling is bad.
Okay, great. So what advice are you giving to stock photographers now that Masterfile's in the microstock business? Are you telling people to stay to the high end or to diversify? What advice are you giving stock photographers?
I am being cautious about giving anybody any advice, because there's so much uncertainty out there, and even in the microstock industry, there's a lot of complaints from photographers that they're already sort of seeing their royalties maxing out. So my advice to photographers is, you know, if you're determined to make a living at the high end, then do it and don't complain about it. If you want to try different things, then by all means try different things, and we certainly invite our own photographers, our Masterfile photographers, to participate in Creestock. We've also had some Creestock photographers approach us to see if there was an opportunity for them in Masterfile, and in many cases they're absolutely good enough to be in an agency like Masterfile. So the response is sure. The more general question, you know, what does a photographer do to earn a living? I do recommend diversifying, but I also recommend diversifying beyond stock photography. You know, there's been more, I think there's a potential resurgence in commercial assignment photography. Now, that's not something amateurs can necessarily aspire to, but certainly for professional photographers who perhaps were deriving all their income from stock photography, that's not such an easy road to hoe anymore. So my advice is, you know, spread the risk, and you know, be prepared to shoot weddings if you have to. Fantastic.
Well, good luck with Creestock. I wish you all the success. There's a lot of goodwill out there for you, and thanks for your time.
Alrighty, I appreciate it.